Today I'm making a poached cod with a saffron broth. So the prep is going to be super easy for this meal. First thing we need to do is cut a little bit of a shallot, and I am going to use my fancy little scenic knife that I got recently. It doesn't have to be pretty, I'm just going to dice it up nice and small. Next I'm going to cut up a bell pepper. You can feel free to use any color, red, yellow, orange, whichever one you prefer. This one won't be quite as much color, but it's still going to look nice. It's going to give it nice flavor. The other thing I like to do is I like to trim up these and just take away some of that meat out of there. It kind of cleans it up and it takes away some of that bitterness and everything. And then I'm going to dice these up nice and small. It's going to allow it to cook much faster as well. Next, I have these, they're like called sugar bombs, but they're pretty much cherry tomatoes that are ripened on the vine. Really nice, extra sweet. And I'm just going to take these and I'm going to quarter them up, and they're going to be more of a garnish, but with some flavor as well. These will take just a little bit more prep, but it's pretty easy. Like I said, I'm just kind of quartering them up and then kind of quartering them again. Next, I'm going to portion out my cod. These were the best fillets I was able to find today that were not frozen. The stores around me, they're pretty low on everything. But we're just going to cut these up into some somewhat nicer pieces that are just a little bit more even. Next, my pan getting hot, I'm going to put in a little bit of ghee, which is pretty much a clarified butter. Feel free to use just regular butter, or you could just use olive oil. I'm going to add a little olive oil as well. And then add in that little bit of a drizzle of the olive oil, and we're going to go ahead and let this heat up a little bit, and then we'll start doing our shallots. Go ahead and get all those shallots in there, and then we're going to saute this up for just a couple minutes, get them a little bit softer, and just like onions, we kind of want them to cook a little bit. Make sure to keep them nice and stirred. We definitely don't want them to burn in there. And next, we're going to add a little bit of garlic and saute that here for a second. After that, I'm going to go ahead and add in our pretty bell pepper here. Again, go ahead and saute this for about a minute or so. Next, I'm going to add in about a cup and a half of vegetable broth. Normally, I would use white wine, but I know I do have some followers that can't have wine, so I figured that I would just use vegetable broth, and this will help it become pescatarian as well if you are a pescatarian. Next, I'm just going to layer the cod in there, and we're also going to put some of the saffron. It doesn't take a whole lot of saffron, just a couple little pinches. I'm going to kind of spread it around, put little pinches in little places. The saffron does go a long ways. I know it is a little pricey for such a small container, but it will last for quite a while. After that, I am going to turn it down just a little bit. I'm going to put the lid on it and then turn them in about 4 minutes or so. Then after about 4 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and uncover them, and I'm going to get them flipped over. Just be gentle because fish is pretty fragile, but gently get them turned over, and then we're going to let it cook for a couple more minutes to finish. Now, after a couple minutes, go ahead and check it. Cod doesn't really take a whole long time. You just want it to be nice and flaky, but you don't want it to be overdone. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to remove this all out of the heat. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do our plating. So what I want to do is I want to take some of this broth. It's so aromatic, so flavorful. I want to put some of this right down at the bottom. You can see the little threads of the saffron. We got a nice orangey color. Next, we're going to take a couple pieces of the cod. Of course, my cod wasn't the prettiest, but I'm going to choose the best couple pieces just for presentation. And I'm just going to layer a couple of those right on the plate. You get a little extra steam. It is cold out here right now. I'm cooking in my garage. There we go. Pretty good there. And then if you wish, you can always add some veggies or things like that. Today we are just doing some cod. Now I'm going to spoon a little bit of the bell peppers and things just to kind of put right on top. Then we're going to take some of those cut up tomatoes that we did, and we're just going to kind of put them up on top. It gives it a little bit of color, and it's going to give it a little bit of flavor. Plus, these are the sweet ones, so it's going to be really good with the fish. Now, originally I was going to do some chives and different things, but my store was pretty much out of everything, so we're just going to do the lame old piece of parsley. And then finally, I'm going to garnish or kind of top it off with a bit of this smoked bacon sea salt that I have. Gives it a really nice smoky flavor, and it's just really awesome. Now, if you are a vegetarian, pescatarian, whatever it might be, you don't eat pork, then just use some regular salt. Alright, so overall, really simple dish. Doesn't take very long to put together. Pretty much takes about 15 minutes total. Maybe 5 minutes for prepping, 10 minutes for cooking. Not long at all. It's vibrant, colorful. You could always add other colors in as well. Originally, I was also going to do some chives and stuff, but my store was pretty much empty on like everything today. It's nice and flaky. You could smell the smokiness from that salt as well, which is really nice. You got the nice colors from the saffron. And I didn't use a lot of the salt, but you could taste it, the smokiness, the bakiness. Definitely works really well with fish. It works well with a lot of stuff, you know, pork, beef, pretty much anything you want to put it on. If you are a pescatarian, or you know, you don't eat pork or beef or any of that stuff, just leave it out. Use regular salt, put some pepper on it, you're good to go. But it's really good. It's light. It doesn't have hardly any fat whatsoever. The biggest part of the fat would be the ghee. And you don't have to use the ghee. You can just leave that completely out. Just use the olive oil. But anyway, hope you enjoyed. Super easy meal that you can put together in just minutes.